You'll never make enough money. She said it just like that, like she was commenting on the weather. No anger, no venom, just cold fact. It was a Sunday morning. She was still in her robe, sipping espresso in our downtown condo, the one I furnished, the one I paid for. We were barely a year into our marriage. I'd just told her I was leaving the hedge fund, going solo, starting something of my own. She looked over her cup, eyes scanning me like a portfolio she'd already decided to drop. You're not cutthroat enough. You're the kind of guy who builds someone else's empire. That stuck. Not because it hurt, because she believed it. I didn't argue. I didn't flinch. I just nodded and asked if she wanted eggs. She didn't. She had a brunch with her boss, Gregory Linwood. A name I'd heard so often, it came with a face in my head. Tailored suits, fake tan, always out of the country or deep in meetings. A man with too much money and too little subtlety. Gregory ran an ad tech company called Ardent. They were expanding fast, swallowing up smaller firms, doing what tech bros do, burning cash for scale, scaling for exit. Rachel had joined Ardent 6 months earlier, head of partnerships, which translated to long dinners, even longer weekends, and Gregory's name on our bank statements more than mine. Still, I kept my mouth shut. I started my own thing, a boutique analytics firm, lean, precise, fully remote. No one took it seriously. Not her, not her friends, not the people we used to host at wine tastings in our loft. But I wasn't building it for applause. I was building it for leverage. Rachel kept rising. Promotions, bonuses, designer bags arriving in discreet packaging. She said it was all from performance bonuses. I didn't ask questions. Not out loud. But I noticed when she changed her phone password. I noticed when her calendar suddenly had entries marked, private, recurring. I noticed when she stopped kissing me goodbye in the mornings. I worked in silence. Grew the business. Reinvested. Acquired a competitor. Scaled with surgical precision. I didn't need a brand. I needed revenue and control. Then I got the call. It was from Dylan Wright, a contact from my hedge fund days. There's blood in the water, he said. Ardent's bleeding cash. They're ripe. He was right. Ardent's expansion had stalled. Poor debt management, sketchy books, 3 pending lawsuits, all buried under PR gloss and venture smoke. I spent 6 weeks analyzing their vulnerabilities. Then I formed a shell company, Wraith Ventures. We approached their board anonymously through a third-party intermediary. By the time Gregory knew someone was circling, it was too late. We owned 47% of Ardent's outstanding debt via third-party instruments. The board called an emergency. Gregory didn't show. Rumors swirled. Something about SEC pressure, unpaid bonuses, a female exec who'd lawyered up. Rachel came home early that night. Shaken. Quiet. I asked if she wanted wine. She nodded. You okay? I asked. She stared into her glass. Gregory's, stepping down. It's complicated. I didn't say a word. Just sat there, sipping, listening to the silence stretch between us. 3 days later, the board announced a full acquisition. The shell company behind the deal? Wraith Ventures. The new acting CEO? Me. I showed up to the all-hands in a gray suit, tie loose, no name tag. They didn't recognize me at first. Then I took the mic. Some of you know me, I said, my eyes scanning the room. Most of you don't. But for those wondering why you're here today, it's because change is coming. Fast, clean, necessary. Rachel sat in the front row, frozen. Her mouth parted slightly. Shock doesn't scream, it whispers. After the meeting, she cornered me in the hallway. You, she said. You did this? I looked her dead in the eye. Told you I'd never make enough money. So I bought the company instead. She laughed. A sharp, humorless sound. This is revenge, she asked. No, I said, stepping past her. This is evolution. That was just the beginning. Rachel didn't come home that night. She sent a text. I need space. You blindsided me. I didn't reply. Let her have the silence. It was the only thing in our marriage I'd never weaponized. I spent the night in my office at Ardent, walking the halls I now owned. Every division was under review. Every exec under scrutiny. I brought in a forensic audit team from Zurich, neutral, expensive, silent. In 2 days, they found enough to gut the old leadership structure. Gregory's consulting fees, inflated contracts with shell vendors, and bonuses paid out to staff who barely clocked hours. And Rachel's name, tied to 5 of those deals. All signed under a discretionary budget. Gregory, gave her exclusive access to. None of it illegal, yet, but sloppy enough to bury reputations if handled right. I waited. On the third day, she came to the office. No warning. Just walked in like she still belonged there. She had her makeup on, her tone crisp, polished. That look she used to wear to charity galas and investor meetings, back when I was just the silent husband in the background. "You ambushed me," she said, stepping into my new corner office without asking. "No, I played the game." "This is personal," she snapped. "You could have taken over and kept me out of it." I leaned back in my chair. "You told me I wasn't cutthroat enough. I listened." She laughed again, bitter this time. "So what? You're just here to ruin me?" "No," I said, opening a file on my desk and sliding it toward her. "I'm here to offer you a choice." She scanned the top page. Expense reports, digital signatures, bonus authorizations tied to ghost vendors. All under her access. All traceable. "This is," she started. "Evidence," I cut her off. "Enough to get you barred from the industry. Or you resign. Quietly. Today." Her hands trembled as she pushed the file back. "You really hate me that much?" "I don't hate you," I said. "I remember what you said over coffee that morning. You'll never make enough. You were right, then." She stood there, frozen. Like her brain was still catching up to the moment. "Who told you?" she finally asked. "Who told you I was vulnerable?" I smiled. "Gregory. The day he signed the sell-off agreement, he asked if he could keep one executive, his most flexible one. That was you." The color drained from her face. She opened her mouth, closed it. "This job was everything," she said, almost a whisper. "You made it everything," I replied. "I just bought it." She left without another word. By Friday, the press release was out. Rachel Linwood, head of partnerships, steps down amid strategic restructuring. No drama, no details, just silence. The internet did the rest. Speculation, rumors, none confirmed. That was enough. 2 days later, Gregory's name appeared in a federal filing. Insider trading. He dumped stock options right before the acquisition. His lawyer tried to shift blame. Called Rachel a key confidant. Claimed she gave him early warnings. I let it happen. When her lawyer called, asking for a meeting to clarify Rachel's role, I gave them a time. 1 hour. No extensions. The meeting was in a cold glass conference room. Her attorney talked first, offering context, mitigation, anything to keep her clean. I said nothing. Then Rachel spoke. "You win, okay? You proved your point. I was wrong. About everything." "No," I said. "You were right. I just changed." She asked what I wanted. I told her. Full cooperation in the Gregory investigation. A signed affidavit outlining his pressure, his abuse of influence, and every off-record deal he forced her to process. In return, I'd bury the audit report. Keep her name off the final summary. "Why help me?" she asked. "Because evolution has a price," I said. "And I'd rather you pay it by testifying than burning." She signed. She testified. The board hailed me for cleaning house without setting the building on fire. I didn't do it for the board. I did it for the next move. Because Ardent was never the goal. It was just the lever. And now the real doors were opening. 2 weeks after the testimony, Gregory was indicted. Wire fraud. Securities violations. His empire, what was left of it, collapsed under the weight of his own arrogance. Rachel's affidavit made headlines. But without the full audit, she came out bruised, not broken. She knew better than to thank me. I wasn't expecting gratitude. I was expecting silence. And she delivered. By the end of that month, Ardent's valuation stabilized. The board offered me a permanent seat. I declined. I'd already made my move. Sold my stake in Wraith Ventures to a Saudi firm for double the acquisition cost. Quiet exit. No press. But I wasn't done. I reached out to Dylan again. "What's next?" he asked. I told him. Finance. Private credit. Everyone's overleveraged. We formed a new entity, Hollow Bridge Capital. Seeded it with the Ardent profits. I didn't chase headlines. I chased control. Bought debt portfolios, acquired distressed assets, took board seats without showing up, influence without exposure. And slowly, very quietly, I started circling one name, Ethan Wells. Rachel's new boyfriend. I found out through an alumni gala photo she posted months after resigning. Him in a navy suit, hand on her waist. Real estate developer. Loud online. Leverage maxed. Financing 3 buildings in Miami, 1 in Austin. The man loved debt, like Gregory loved fake tan. I didn't need to destroy Ethan. I just needed to own him. We bought a 12% stake in one of his major creditors through a shell firm. Then another 7%. Then I made a call. Terminate the extension, I told the loan officer. Trigger the default clause. It happened in a week. Ethan scrambled. Rachel posted a vague quote on her Instagram about Storm's revealing true character. I offered Ethan a lifeline. Discrete capital at high interest. The terms were brutal. The lender's identity was masked. He signed. He had no choice. Rachel called me a month later. From a new number. I know, she said. Know what? That you're behind it. That you're his new lender. I didn't confirm. I didn't deny. You said this wasn't revenge. It's not, I said. It's leverage. She was quiet for a long time. Are you going to ruin him? No, I said. I'm going to let him succeed. Loudly. Publicly. Then collect from him for the rest of his career. She exhaled, sharp. You're not the man I married. No, I said. I'm the man you created. Click. That was the last time we spoke. Ethan recovered. 2 of his projects went live, mildly profitable. He made his name. Meanwhile, every month, he wired payments to a lender he'd never meet, bound by clauses he never read. I didn't take his company. I took his future margins. Rachel disappeared from the public eye. Last I heard, she was working for a nonprofit, low profile, low budget. No bonuses. No espresso mornings. As for me, I own pieces of companies now. Not titles. Not desks. Just influence. The kind that calls from block numbers and changes lives with a signature. People still ask about the Wraith takeover. The Gregory fallout. The mystery buyer who flipped Ardent and vanished. I let the right people know. That's enough. This wasn't about money. It was never about revenge. It was about rewriting the narrative. She said I'd never make enough. So I made silence profitable and power permanent.